The following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
There we go. Welcome back in to Main Street Sports Today. It's another week here in the world of Middle Tennessee sports. I'm Chris Yao and glad to be with you as always, joined by my partner in crime, Mo Patton. Mo, what's up?
It's Monday.
You know, it's been Monday all day.
All day.
As excited as we were on Friday for it to be Friday, it has been just that much worse on Monday.
Well, could be worse.
What it is.
I guess.
I mean, sure, we could not be on the air right now, but we are, in fact, on the air. So I guess that's a good thing. We'll take the small wins. Take the small wins. What's going on? What was up this weekend? Anything exciting? Obviously, we're here, so we didn't win the Mega Millions.
We did not win the Mega Millions. Because we did not buy a ticket in Illinois, apparently.
Yeah, well, that was the key.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
My mom got 2 numbers.
She win anything for that?
Probably like $14. Who knows? You get a check like that, you just frame it and say, "I won the lottery," right?
Well, I mean, if you can recoup your expenses, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
That's true. Yeah, it wasn't as fruitful as we'd like, but here we are. So back to the grind on Monday.
There we go. Yeah. That was what did I do this week? Didn't do much of anything this weekend, really. It's very kind of a calm before the storm kind of thing, I think. Kind of trying to catch my breath because I know what's coming here in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing college football this month. We're playing
football. High school football this month.
Well, that of course comes a lot sooner, but
yeah,
the fact that there is college football this month is in the mid-state even. I mean, Vanderbilt will be playing obviously against Hawaii, and that means kickoff is just around the corner. You know what that means, Mo?
Tell me.
It means that we get to start talking to folks about college football season.
It's talking season. No,
it is talking season. It continues all the way through August. And we had some great guests lined up for today. Unfortunately,
then Monday happened.
And one of our guests, I want to send my thoughts out to him and his family. We had FCS Nation Radio's host who is up in Montana right now, but Kevin Marshall was going to join us and talk a little ASUN football.
Whoa. The rundown.
Hey, what's up?
Sorry about that.
He's rushing us, Mo.
Yeah. It's kind of like the hook on the Apollo.
Oh yeah, it's like the gong.
Yeah.
But Kevin was going to join us, but his wife, who works in a long-term nursing care facility, COVID has run through there, and so she is having to actually live on site until they are able to get cleared. So unfortunately, he is unable to join us today. We also had Ed Marlow from up in Kentucky, who was going to talk a little OVC with us, but the governor of Kentucky preempted us, apparently.
Yeah, he does some news coverage as well for WKDZ radio up there. And
right,
like you said, an impromptu Andy Bashir press conference kind of trumped us. So
well, that's unfortunate. But
there's a lot going on in Kentucky right now.
There is.
Yeah.
it's completely
our
understandable.
thoughts go out to those folks as well with the flooding and everything that they've got going on. So, yeah.
Right. So we do have Brady Mcatamney who's going to come on, talk a little bit about Austin P in the 3:00 hour. He's going to join us in discussing the ASUN, because when I asked him, what do you know about the ASUN? He said, whatever came out of media day. So that's all we know too. So I guess we can just talk about it together. But he'll give us a little bit of an in-depth analysis on the Governors. And we are scheduled to be joined by former Boston Celtic and Nashville superstar Dante Jones here in just a few minutes. So we'd like to, we want to get into that. But before we do anything, our top stories come from Mo, who had a couple of big stories coming out this week in Main Street Murray. You can see them on mainstreetmurray.com. But our first one, we have a couple. Former Belmont star and Mount Pleasant native Joe Gaines has died at 72.
Yeah, passed away on Friday in Winchester Hospital, probably the Winchester Hospital, but after an extended illness down there. 72 years old, was the first male African-American student athlete in Belmont history, and certainly made his mark after graduating from Clark Training School in Mount Pleasant. Remains, as a 1972 graduate, he remains the number 10 scorer in Belmont basketball history with 1,955 career points, and goodness gracious, nearly matched that in rebounds, 1,895 career rebounds, the all-time Belmont leader. So quite a prolific career for Mr. Gaines. Went on and played 4 years of, I guess, minor league basketball, for lack of a better phrase, in the Eastern Basketball League, and spent some time overseas as well. 3-time Volunteer State Athletic Conference selection, was named VSAC All-Tournament as a freshman, conference MVP as a junior. So definitely.
That seems good.
Good enough to get him voted into the Belmont Hall of Fame in 1989. And as Striplin Gym was closed down for the Curb Center, he was one of 12 players named to the All Striplin Gym team back in 01. So quite the memorable career there for Joe Gaines, who passed away Friday at 72. And again, we do have an article up on the website at mainstreetmurray.com, and some pretty poignant comments from retired TSSAA Executive Director Bernard Childress, who was kind enough to give me some time today after hanging out with his grandkids yesterday.
Well, because that is clearly what's coming first these days for Bernard. And glad for him.
What are you talking about? Yeah. I did not expect to get between him and the grandkids, but certainly happy to get some time with him, and some great thoughts from him on this. So again, there is an article on the website at mainstreetmurray.com on the passing of Joe Gaines at the age of 72.
Also on mainstreetmurray.com, Spring Hill is named a wrestling coach, and this one's a little out of the box.
It is a little out of the box, but she's got a little bit of a history with the program. Courtney Bruss, who
so
was
it
in
is Bruss?
It is Bruss.
I was curious. BRUS.
Yeah. I checked it with her when I spoke with her, but yeah, it's Bruss.
I was really excited to hear you say it on the air, because I had no idea what it was going to be.
Well, fortunately, her email is Courtney B5. Well, I probably it's email anyway. So I mean, yeah, Bruss. That's how it's pronounced. But she is the new Raiders wrestling coach, replacing Bo Moss, who established that program 5 years ago and will now coach the cross-country team, as I think we mentioned on these same airwaves last week. So she has taken that program over. both her father and her uncle coached high school wrestling, and she soaked up a lot both from them and during her high school days in Maryland. Has been active with the Spring Hill AAU wrestling program, and so she's looking forward to it. I'm kind of looking forward to this, just because sometimes it takes a little new blood to kind of elevate things to the next level. Seeing that happen with a few wrestling programs in the area, and Spring Hill has kind of gotten their numbers up. They've got the youth program going, and there's a lot of folks that are excited about the sport in that area, and it'll be interesting to see how she goes about helping them take the next step forward. It was believed that she was the first woman to serve as head coach of a boys team in Tennessee, but in fact, there's been at least one other up in Clarksville earlier, I guess about 10, 12 years ago, maybe roughly, and perhaps another. So that's what happens when you start talking about first evers and that kind of thing. Things kind of start popping out of the woodwork.
Well,
but
at least you can find out.
well, there you go. If you want to know, just throw it out there, and somebody will tell you. But
Know how wrong you are.
It's safe to say that this is a rarity that you have a woman coaching boys wrestling. But
Certainly.
again, in this day and time, I don't think it's a gender specific knowledge base. So looking forward to seeing what she does there.
Absolutely. All right. That is our top stories. Those are our top stories for the day. It's unusual. We don't typically have two top stories. So is what it is. So I guess we need to tell you what happened over the weekend and tell you today's very, 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 very short schedule on the rundown.
This is the Rundown. The Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit.
All righty then. The Friday Rundown is, in fact, brought to you by Chip Walters, but the Monday Rundown is brought to you by our friends at Zion Christian Academy. ZionEagles.org is where you can find that. 931-388-5731, a Christ-centered education prepared for college and equipped for purpose. Again, that's ZionEagles.org, or call 931-388-5731 to schedule your appointment today. Mo?
In Friday baseball action, Baltimore defeated Cincinnati 6-2. It was the Cardinals 6-2 over the Nationals. Milwaukee with a 4-1 win over the Red Sox. The Braves opened their series against Arizona with a 5-2 victory, and it was the Cubs defeating the Giants 4-2. On Saturday, it was Milwaukee 9, Boston 4. Cincinnati defeated Baltimore 8-2. The Nats with a 7-6 win over the Cardinals. Atlanta downs Arizona 6-2, and it was the Giants 5, the Cubs 4. On Sunday, the Braves completed the sweep in dramatic fashion with a 1-0 walk-off victory over the Diamondbacks. Boston down Milwaukee 7-2. It was the Cardinals 5, the Nats 0. Cincinnati with a 3-2 win over Baltimore, and the Giants down the Cubs 4-0. In minor league baseball action over the weekend, the Sounds knocked off Charlotte 4-2 on Friday, but the Knights battled back for a 7-2 win on Saturday and a 2-1 series closing victory.
WNBA action, it was Las Vegas 93 and Indiana 72. Chicago Sky down the New York Liberty 89-81. It was Seattle 82-77 winners over Washington. Dallas down Atlanta 81-68. It was Chicago over Connecticut in overtime 95-92. That's always good. New York down Phoenix 89-69. Washington with a little revenge over Seattle with a 78-75 win. And then Minnesota down Los Angeles 84-77. In CFL action, as you saw on ESPN2 Friday night, British Columbia 32, Saskatchewan 17, and Nashville Soccer Club, late goal from Vancouver, tied it up, and so it was a 1-1 draw in Nashville on Saturday night.
It's back to me.
It is.
Hold on, because I was doing something else. The Monday schedule. It's a short one. It's a short one. Baseball. Cincinnati's at Miami. It's a 5:40 start today. And Boston is at Houston. That's a 7 p.m. start. And it's televised on ESPN. And that is your rundown.
That's right. Your rundown brought to you by Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org. Again, give them a call. Or if you'd like to talk about what's going on today, if you want to give us a call, we'll open the phone lines a little bit later. So make sure to take down the number 615-588-2998. 615-588-2998 is the number to call. And we will take calls probably in the last segment of the day today. But if you want to call, we might just throw you on. So don't call if you don't want to talk. That's all I'm saying. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will get into the Deshaun Watson situation. So there's a lot to unpack there and much more to get into. So come back with us. Main Street Sports Today is presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. That's us. That's our music. By God, that's Main Street Sports Today's music. Watch
like
out.
that.
We're coming down the aisle. we're gonna walk the aisle one more time. Just like Ric Flair, and boy was that rough.
You watched?
I didn't. I watched highlights on Twitter. I need to yell at my kid real quick. So she's playing with the outlet and the lamp. Sorry.
Oh,
I can see her like so.
Oh,
She
goodness.
started playing with the lamp.
Nothing good can come of that. I mean, do what you got to do. I mean, me and Justin will fill time if necessary, but
I would much rather take 2 seconds to stop her than have to run out of here because she got electric.
yeah.
That was funny. That was good timing. That was amazing mute skills there.
Oh, I have a button on my camera / microphone that allows me to right there. See,
Nice.
it's pretty cool. and I want to get into the Deshaun Watson situation, but the Ric Flair final match was, it's exactly what you expected it to be. He got a little bloody. I don't know if it was, I know he didn't actually cut himself again. I can't imagine he cut himself. It was probably some sort of blood capsule, but he did win. So Ric Flair goes out a winner. Surprise, surprise.
Did you have any doubt?
Well, it's funny because, sometimes wrestling promoters they'll try to outsmart themselves. And they'll be like, oh, nobody will expect him to lose, so we'll make him lose, right? No.
In his final match?
Yeah. I'm telling you, wrestling promoters can get dumb, but Jim Cornette is no dummy. Did a great job with it. It was a celebrity affair for Nashville. I mean, Vrabel was there. It was a pretty big deal. I was a little surprised by the folks who I saw in attendance. So,
well, like you said, for a number of people, it was a pretty big deal. So,
yeah. So I didn't know this. Did you know that Ric Flair was actually adopted out of the Tennessee Children's Home baby selling scandal in Memphis?
Not until I saw your retweet last night.
That blew my mind because I got really excited. I was like, wait, Spring Hill connection? I'm fixing to write a story.
No.
Unfortunately, no, it was a Memphis connection.
Yeah. And that was there were a number of kids actually involved in that over an extensive period of time. I remember that story when it came out a few years ago.
It was crazy, but yeah, I didn't realize that he was born in Memphis. I knew he grew up in Minnesota. I didn't realize, that, and he wrestled out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So because back in the day, he started as a wrestler in the South. So fighting out of Manitowoc, Minnesota, isn't going to fly in Memphis, Tennessee.
Doesn't quite have the same impact, the same oomph. So yeah.
It didn't really work out.
No.
But yeah. So anyway, it is what it is. But
I'm glad it went well, and I'm glad it's over.
Yeah, folks enjoyed it. I'm sure. I wouldn't have minded being there, but I didn't want to deal with the rest of it. Apparently, SummerSlam also went really well. Packed house at Nissan Stadium. Stadium didn't fall down. That's good. And they crowned a new women's champ. That's the only thing I saw on Twitter. But a lot of folks on Twitter were posting their photographs from it. So Wade Neely, out of our friend from Giles County, had a selfie with the Undertaker. So I'm telling you, man, it got crazy this weekend here in Nashville. Wrestling gone wild.
Goodness gracious.
So, and not the good kind of wrestling, as Mo would say.
No, this was wrestling.
This is wrestling, not wrestling. That's exactly right. Big difference. Big difference.
Yeah, huge difference.
All right, let's get into it. Deshaun Watson is this morning handed down a 6-game sentence. A 6-game suspension. Oof. Freudian slip there. A 6-game suspension.
I think the sentence is playing for Cleveland, but
yes, that's exactly what it is. We're like, what are we going to do to make this worse? Making him play in Cleveland.
Yeah, you're suspended for 6 games, and when you come back, you got to play for the Browns. Yeah.
That's terrible, but so true.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, so a 6-game suspension, and a lot of folks are comparing this situation to the betting situation down in Atlanta with Calvin Ridley, and
not favorably.
No. A lot of folks are saying, if I'm Calvin Ridley, oh man, I'd be
right.
It would be different if he bet on them to lose,
or if he had any impact on the games in which he was betting on.
That's true. He wasn't even playing. He wasn't even playing.
I mean, he's no different from you in that sense. I mean, right. I don't know. And again, I don't know as much about this as I should probably, but I don't know what his interaction was with the Falcons during that time.
Even
I
if
mean,
he
was
had
he?
interaction, he still bet on them to win. That's the thing.
Well, I guess they're saying, I guess the possibility of insider information. I don't know. I mean, it's still the Falcons, though. So I don't know. It's bad. His year-long suspension for that is bad in and of itself. Coming ahead of Deshaun Watson's 6-game suspension, which is not even a half a season for this situation, is just another bad look on the part of the NFL.
You know, what's crazy is, you know, we talked about last year how the NFLPA is probably the weakest players union, and yet here we sit. Now, I don't know how much of this has to do with, you know, the fact that there were no criminal charges necessarily. Perhaps if he loses some of these lawsuits, there might be some changes. I don't know.
I think all but one of them has been settled.
Well, then, I mean, to me,
according to CBSSports.com, Watson was facing 24 sexual misconduct lawsuits, but that number is now down to just one.
Gotcha.
Browns quarterback settled 20 of the 24 cases in June and then followed that up by settling 3 of the remaining 4 cases on Monday morning. So you went from 24 to 1.
Wow. Well, maybe that one is, who knows? I feel like this is a situation where the Browns come out smelling like a rose.
Pending,
I mean, they had to know, right? They had to know that he wasn't going to get anything.
I mean, I don't know how they could know, really, but they had to have a pretty good feeling now. I mean, the NFL has the opportunity to appeal this.
They're not going to, though, from what I understand. The PA?
No. The NFLPA, either the NFL, either the league, or the Players Association can appeal. The NFLPA has said they are not going to.
Right.
But
so the NFL still has not said yes or no.
No, they have not.
Can't imagine they would, but then again.
Well, I can imagine they would, just because they may be in favor of a longer suspension. They should be.
Yeah, but if
nothing
you're
else,
not going to appeal and then get a longer, I don't know that would be the way it would go.
I don't know that would be the way it would go, but from a optics standpoint, I could see them appealing in hopes of trying to make it look like, hey, we weren't satisfied with 6 games. We tried to get more. Because the NFL is about nothing if not spin.
Well, you're right. I mean, they're all about the optics more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows, man? This is a wild situation. But the Browns now have they'll have 6 weeks of either Josh Dobbs or Jacoby Brissett, I guess. And their schedule in that time frame is at Carolina week 1, which we all knew about.
Yeah.
The Jets at home, the Steelers at home. They go to Atlanta, home against the Chargers, and then home against New England. So almost half of their home games do not have.
Oof.
Yeah, it could be half of their home games, actually, because I don't know if they play 8 or 9 this year.
And there's a few games there that you certainly don't want to be undermanned for. I mean, that home game against Pittsburgh, that's an AFC North game.
Yep.
You know, the Patriots and the Chargers are two teams that you feel like are going to be vying for postseason positions.
And it is, in fact, half
AFC
their home games, by the way.
Still, though, like you said, I don't think the Browns could have hoped for a more favorable outcome than this.
No,
in terms of their starting
happy.
quarterback.
Yeah, they're happy.
Gotta be.
His first game back would be at Baltimore after not a bye week. Just kidding. But
that would have been optimal for them, giving them 2 weeks to get him ready.
Well, you got to think he's not necessarily suspended for practice. He's only suspended for games. He's not suspended for weeks.
That
only games.
That's so he can. But how much can you do with him when you know he's not going to play on Sunday, though?
Yeah, that's your problem. Is how much can he play in the preseason? That one I don't know.
But again, though, even if he can, how much can you play him when you've got to get a guy ready for week 1 and for the first 6 weeks?
It's rough. Here we go.
Yep.
All I can tell you is the Cleveland Browns are in a mell of a hess for 2022. But
it's a mell of a hess of their own creation for bringing him in, and it's not as bad as it could have been.
Well, that's what I'm saying is after 2022, they're in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
once they get past week 6, they're in.
Yeah, I mean they're probably going to make the playoffs, even just because you only have 11 more games with him, and you probably aren't going to win all of those, just based off of who you are. But and they don't have the wide receiver core that they used to. They don't have Austin Hooper anymore. They're missing some key pieces. But you throw in
a pretty tough division that includes the AFC champion, a perennial MVP candidate in Lamar Jackson and the Steelers.
And Mike Tomlin, who just seems to always be pretty good.
Has never had a losing record.
So, I mean, it's not easy, but you put a couple pieces with that guy, and it could happen.
So, if you're Cleveland, run through that first 6 games again.
It's going to be at Carolina, New York at home, Pittsburgh at home, at Atlanta, home against the Chargers and the Patriots.
If you're Cleveland, what are you looking at getting out of there with?
You're hoping for 3-3. Because I think you feel like you can beat Carolina. You feel like you're in a good situation because obviously if you thought Baker Mayfield was a good enough quarterback, you wouldn't have gotten rid of him, right? So, 2, in all of these games, I'm not sure they have the better quarterback. I mean, Pittsburgh, we don't know what their quarterback situation is going to be.
Right.
And Atlanta has Marcus Mariota. Those are the 2 where, and then I guess Zach Wilson, but Zach Wilson looked okay last year. I think those 3
for
games.
The Panthers, you mean?
No, Zach Wilson for the Jets.
Oh, my bad. I'm
Mr. BYU.
It's the wrong.
Not Panthers, Cougars. Wait, never mind.
Stop.
But you have 3 weeks in a row where you should have at least an equal quarterback. Jets, Pittsburgh, Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, you feel like they can beat Carolina, the Jets, and Atlanta probably.
Those are the 3 games you hope you win.
And like you said, with the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh, you don't know what that's going to be. So you could mess around and get that one, and that's a division
That's
game.
right.
Of course, it's at home.
At night on a Thursday.
But that Patriots game is tough, and that Chargers game is tough. You might mess around and get out of there 4-2.
I would not bet on that, but you never know. I mean, again, because of home games, it's the Browns, so it's still the Browns too. Remember that. They don't have a very good defense either, on top of all of the other problems they have.
But they do got Nick Chubb.
But they do have Nick Chubb. If you can run the ball and you can play defense and you can throw it just enough, who knows?
Yep.
Anyway.
Very interesting.
It really is. It really is. We are going to try, and we're efforting to get Dante Jones on the line. He said he would call in before 3 o'clock. So, Mo, why don't we just take a break? Do you want to just go ahead and run into the Braves real quick and go from there?
That'd probably be our best bet.
All right. We'll talk. Jeez, we'll talk a little Braves.
Sorry about that.
I wasn't ready. We'll talk a little Braves on the other side of the break. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, talking a little Braves baseball and other baseball. Mo, we got a lot of baseball news coming down the pike today. It's obviously the Braves over the weekend, finally a sweep, but the Mets win too. So there's
it's a three-game cushion right now for the Mets. We have how many games left with them?
18
with them.
Is
that right?
I don't think it's 18. It's a bunch, but
I mean,
I don't know exactly how many it is.
I think
five.
As we sit here on August 1st, I'm more concerned with us just continuing to win than I am with them. I mean, if we stay close,
12 games,
12 left. Starting with a 4-game series this weekend, Thursday, Friday, doubleheader.
It's five
games. Oh,
5
goodness.
games.
Saturday doubleheader. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you doing Saturday?
What am I doing Saturday?
Never mind. That's up there. Never mind. It's at City Field.
Dang, that sucks.
But There's
Now
a
that you
midweek.
mention it,
There's a midweek series, 4 games, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th at Truist Park. All night games.
in August.
Yes. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, leading up to our high school football season openers on Friday.
I'm in. 4-game set there.
We might we might need to take this conversation offline.
Hey, I'm in. But yeah, the Braves get a sweep. You know, still working on the Mets. That's fine. But you know, again, that final game, if Max Fried's not pitching, Braves probably don't win.
I hate it that he throws 7 shutout and gets nothing to show for it, but the Braves did get the win. And you know, someone made the point during yesterday's game, which I guess it was Francoeur, but what Austin Riley is doing right now, you know, it's not a streak anymore. When you do it for as extended a period of time as he has, that's just Austin Riley. He's not on a streak. He is playing like one of the best players in baseball right now, and
He was the best. He was the best player in at least the National League. Obviously, you can talk about Aaron Judge, but in the month of July, he set a Braves record for most extra base hits.
A Braves record previously held by Hank Aaron.
Right. I mean, you break
when you're breaking a Hank Aaron record, yes. Go ahead.
There you go.
Because I cut you off. I apologize.
Well, I mean but that's it. That's the fact right there. You don't have to say anything else. He broke Hank Aaron's record.
Enough said.
It doesn't matter what that is. It doesn't matter what record it is. You break one, it's a big deal. And you know, he was the best player in the month of July. He's certainly in the MVP conversation. He gets you a walk-off double. They gave him a double on that, by the way, because he got to second base on the throw. I don't know that it was a double, but hey, who am I? What do I know?
Well, I mean, I don't think he was trying to get to second, to be honest. Yeah. I think in those situations, they typically give you however many bases the guy that scored from.
Well,
maybe
he got 3.
I think he did get 3. Well, surprisingly enough, by the way.
I was thinking that too. I was like, wash.
Well, I mean, you know, you had to try.
Yeah.
But
and again, you have a guy in scoring position if he gets
and he was
out.
I mean, Olsen was the leadoff guy. Worst case scenario, you've got Riley at second with 1 out. But I mean, you really felt like that was going to be your best chance to score him right there. And
sure.
Given the early season difficulties that Wash had with sending Olsen, it was a little surprising. And I saw somebody ask, you know, why did they not pinch run there? But you know, in the event that they don't score, then it's 0-0 going into the 10th, and you've taken Matt Olsen out of your lineup.
And who else you gonna put at first base? Austin Riley.
Well, there's things you could do. You could put Austin Riley over there. You could put Arcia over there, and you could put Cano. Well, you could have put Cano over there. You can't do that anymore. But yeah, I mean, I think there would have been ways necessarily to defensively get around that. I don't know that there was a way to get around it offensively.
Yeah, well, Adrian, I mean, heck, the way RC has been hitting, it's about who knows.
Yeah,
but and you know, William Contreras.
Well, he was in the game though.
Oh, well, he was.
Yeah, he was playing.
Okay.
Second.
Well, I didn't. Mike Ford. Mike Ford survived, by the way. Robinson Cano did not. Mike Ford did not survive, but Robinson did survive, but Robinson Cano did not. I just want to put that out there.
This time tomorrow, I think Mike Ford will be elsewhere as well. Maybe it's just across town, but I don't think he'll be on the Braves roster. So
yeah, he's going to have the only reason you were using Mike Ford is because he has options available.
But as far as this sweep, I mean, again, that's a situation where they took advantage of the schedule. Arizona's not very good. They beat them. That's what they were supposed to do. That doesn't always happen. I mean, we talked about one night last week where 11 of 12 winners of Major League Baseball games were not the teams that had the better record in the matchup. So, I mean, the best team doesn't always win. And so for the Braves to do that 3 straight days against Arizona, something to be said for it, I think.
There is. Sweeps are not easy to do. So we'll take them when we can get them. Elsewhere around the league, Jacob Degrom is set to start Tuesday for the Mets.
Yeah, which has him set to start Sunday against the Braves, I think.
Well, I mean, when it's a 5-game set, you're going to get all their pitchers.
You would think.
I mean, it's all of them. There's 5 games. You got
5 games, 5 pitchers. Yeah,
you're going to face everybody they got.
Now that means somebody's either going to be on short rest or on long rest, though. So, and I think it'll be interesting to see how the Braves approach this 4-day, 5-game series,
especially when you consider
from a pitching standpoint.
And you're allowed those 2. Is it 2 extra roster spots for a doubleheader?
I don't know if it's 2 or if it's just 1.
It may just be 1, but I'm not sure. But either way, what do? Do you bring up Kyle Muller if he's still on in your organization? I mean,
yeah.
Well,
I think if you can stay away from Jesse Chavez, you're probably going to get a bullpen game, one of those games with him making the start.
Yeah, that's not a terrible idea either.
Yeah.
It's going to, the trade deadline, and the Braves obviously traded today for Adrianza.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, man. It just feels like it just a great defender. Mm-hmm. But, man, I mean, are we really getting anything out of this offensively?
I don't know that you are getting anything out of it offensively. I don't know that you needed to get anything out of it offensively. I mean, when you look at this lineup 1 through 9,
you can have a hole.
I don't know that you can have a hole, but I don't think you have to. I don't think you necessarily have to improve offensively, particularly if it's going to put you at a deficit somewhere else right now. I think they're good enough offensively.
I just don't understand why you wouldn't. I don't understand what we're getting here. I mean, it just, to me,
I think you're getting some flexibility. I think you're.
Is that it?
I think you're getting somebody who has been in this situation before, very recently as well. And I think Anthopoulos kind of values that a little bit.
Here's the thing, and maybe this matters because, obviously the left fielder or an outfielder was kind of necessary just because you have your everyday guys, right? You needed a guy who could play everywhere or anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of gives you that. I mean, but your 3 are, Michael Harrison center, Ronald Acuna in right, and then Rosario in left. I feel like that. Mm-hmm. That's just what you're gonna do.
Yeah, and I think that's probably going to be your everyday, unless they make a move for another outfielder.
But
in the next 24.
And I don't see that happening. I mean, you don't trade for Adrianza and then still try to fill that left field role. I mean, to me, Alex Anthopoulos has moved on to pitching.
Let's hope, because I feel like that's going to be a need.
Perhaps. Josh Hader, of course, we don't need any bullpen help, at least. I mean,
no, I mean we've got arms out there,
but
and
Josh
more
Hader
coming.
Is headed to San Diego from the Brewers. And I'm a little surprised the Brewers, were even in the selling game.
I'm not sure I understand that move on the Brewers' part, but I think what made that move easier for the Brewers is that they've got Devin Williams in that bullpen as well. And
Sure.
I think it'll be easy enough to just slide him into that closer role. Now, he doesn't have, I don't know that he necessarily has the consistent triple digits that Hader does. But,
well, they got Taylor Rogers out of it too, who was the Padres closer, I believe.
Was he?
Yeah.
Well,
So
he had been the Padres closer, according to ESPN. He has given up runs in his last 3 outings and recently lost the closer role to Luis Garcia.
Gotcha.
So, but
Yeah,
I feel like Devin Williams is going to take over closer duties for Milwaukee in the aftermath of Hader being gone.
Sure, but this gives you, I mean, you get a guy who, maybe you take him out of those high leverage situations and ends up, maybe he ends up being better.
Or maybe he just slides into the 8th inning.
That's what I'm saying. You put him in a setup role where it's a little less high leverage, and you're in a good shape. So should be interesting. They got a couple of prospects out of the deal too. So, but it was a little bit surprising to see it for sure. So.
Yeah, I am a little shocked to see Dinelson Lamet in that move for San Diego. And that was a guy that they really had some high hopes for, I think, as they had used him last year when he was healthy at least, and maybe that was the issue. So
there you go. All right, let's take a break, Mo. We've got Brady Mcatamney, who's going to join us here on the other side of this break and talk a little Austin Peay and A-Sun football. How's that sound?
All right, let's do it.
All right, we will take this break. Main Street Sports Today is presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, and we will be back after these messages. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Mo, before the break, we forgot something very important. So before we get to our guests, we need to tell you what happened this day in Braves history.
August 1st, 1954, Joe Adcock, inducted this past weekend into the Braves Hall of Fame, gets hit in the head by a pitch from Brooklyn's Clem Labine during the fourth inning of an eventual 14-6 Braves win. Though he was wearing a batting helmet, Adcock was removed from the game as a precautionary measure. Gene Conley, the Brave starter who played 6 NBA seasons, answered by knocking down Jackie Robinson 2 innings later, sparking a dust-up between Robinson and Eddie Matthews. There we go. For Milwaukee, the win was their 10th straight, and Conley improved to 10-5 with the victory. So,
man,
there we go.
That's an interesting one right there, especially considering what happened in the Astros game this weekend. And yeah, anyway,
games plural.
Neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little college football as we bring in Main Street colleague Brady Mcatamney. Brady is on the phone, so Brady, what's up?
How we doing, guys?
Doing good, man. Just, making it happen.
Yeah, can't say I expected to hear talk of Jackie Robinson and Ed Matthews before I came on the phone.
We try to keep it interesting.
You always keep us on our toes.
Exactly. So Brady, you are primarily a preps guy at Main Street Clarksville, but you also draw a little Austin P coverage duties as well. And I guess it's in that realm that we wanted to get you on to talk a little Austin P and ASUN, don't call them Atlantic Sun Conference football. What's the outlook with Scotty Walden?
Yeah, so they have kind of an interesting team this year. Their starting quarterback, Draylon Ellis, from the last 2 years, he was OVC Freshman of the Year in 2020. He was the 2021 preseason Offensive Player of the Year. Has since been suspended twice since that incident for undisclosed reasons, is now a part of the Tennessee State Tigers after being suspended indefinitely by Austin P. So they're left without a starting quarterback right now. They've got a couple of guys who have a little bit of college experience, but right now it's really an open competition for the quarterback spot for Austin P. You add on top of that, they lost their top 2 rushers from last year, their top receiver from last year, almost their entire offensive line. And this is an offense that is looking very different than it was a year ago. The defense is looking pretty different too. I mean, they got 2 guys who were all preseason, all ASUN defensive team, and one of their receivers was preseason all offense. But overall, there are going to be some new names that people are going to have to learn this year for Austin P, especially in the fan base. I mean, there's going to be guys that not even the diehard fans necessarily are familiar with that are going to have to step up and do something if these guys are going to make noise.
So not only are they going to have to learn the players on the other teams as they make their transition into the Atlantic Sun, they're going to have to learn the players on their teams, huh?
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of learning going on this season.
Well, it's interesting because, you've got Dre McCray, who was named preseason all-conference as a wide receiver, sophomore at Tallahassee. And then on the defensive side, Chuck Manning, graduate out of Durham at defensive line. And the kicker, first-team kicker, Maddox Trujillo. Is it right. Trujillo or Trujillo?
I believe it's Trujillo. Trujillo. It's one of those. I've heard it before.
Trujillo.
It's been a while. Trujillo.
Yeah, sophomore out of Flowery Branch, Georgia. Maddox, Maddux, Mo. Wonder if his family were Braves fans.
Gotta
Didn't
be.
expect him to be a kicker. They expected him to be a pitcher, didn't they? What's that, Brady?
Money with the leg, not the arm.
I missed you there for just a second.
He makes a name with his leg, not quite his arm.
There we go. Yeah, no
That's
doubt.
okay.
Yeah, Brady Mcatamney with Main Street Clarksville joining us here on Main Street Sports today as we knock around a little A-Sun football. Going to be an interesting year because, again, nobody knows anybody, I don't guess. Austin Peay coming in, Jacksonville State coming in. I guess Eastern Kentucky left the OVC last year. Is that right, Chris?
JSU and Eastern Kentucky both played A-Sun with the, they had the WAC deal last year.
Now, are they doing that again this time?
No, this is the first. They have 6 teams, so that's all they need, apparently.
Okay.
Yep, this is the inaugural A-Sun football season.
Man,
isn't that wild?
It is. It really is. Yeah.
Who needs conference expansion when you can just start one?
Exactly.
I mean, and then UNA comes in from.
What were they?
They were playing football in the Big South.
Right.
So yeah, this is a 6-team league. Kennesaw State tabbed to win it with 4 first-place votes, and I'm not really surprised by that. What I am surprised by is that Austin Peay is picked to finish 5th with 1 first-place vote. So somebody thought the Governors had a shot to take it all. Maybe it's the same guy who voted for Vanderbilt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw that. There was another team I saw from another conference that I think it was Boston College might have got a first-place vote in the ACC. So I'd like to meet those guys. But, I mean, I guess it's not necessarily crazy to give Austin Peay the first-place vote. Obviously, it's seeing them finish 5th. It's going to be a competitive conference. I mean, like you said, Kennesaw State, UCA, Eastern Kentucky, Jacksonville State, those are all really good football programs. This is going to be, I think, a very competitive conference. I don't know if you're necessarily going to see one team be head and shoulders above the rest, and I'm not sure you're going to see one team be, completely left in the dust, like, Vanderbilt. I'm sorry, but yeah, I think it's going to be super intriguing. Kennesaw State, like you said, they're really the team to beat as of right now. Xavier Shepard, their quarterback from Nashville, Tennessee, is
out of Pearl.
He's good. That's right. He's a heck of a player. This is something that people in Middle Tennessee have known for a long time. And he's definitely going to be a guy to watch there for Kennesaw State. Matthew Jackson for Eastern Kentucky on defense. A lot of really good talent in here. A lot of
Matthew Jackson also from Nashville, played at Hillsborough.
That's right. That's the Hillsborough guy. So yeah, 2 of the best players in the whole league are Middle Tennessee guys. So that's definitely a cool little wrinkle to the A-Sun this year.
Do you remember Mo? Do you remember Zion Katina, who played at the Independence?
Yeah, he's down at Kennesaw as well,
and is a first-team preseason All A-Sun performer.
Well, Xavier Shepard, as Brady stole my thunder, has been named a preseason All-American by Athlon Sports, and Kennesaw is ranked number 9 in Athlon's preseason top 25. So
they're pretty darn good.
Yeah, they're pretty darn good. He's pretty darn good. Scored 23 rushing touchdowns last year to lead FCS. Threw for 15 touchdowns, including 4 in a game, both of which were KSU records, and set a Big South record for rushing yards by a quarterback in a conference game with 179 against Hampton in October. So he was a finalist for the Walter Payton Award last year, and is on the FCS National Performer of the Year watch list. And again, a Pearl Cone kid who is living up to the potential he showed when he was over there playing for Tony Brunetti. So really excited to see what he does this year and what Kennesaw does. And we drove past that campus, Chris, going to and coming from SEC Media Days a couple of weeks ago. Man, it's a lot to be excited about down there.
Dude, we stay over there when we go to the Braves games. We stay in Kennesaw, right just down the street from the stadium, and it's a decent little stadium. You know, I was really impressed with it, and it's interesting because they are, they're doing things right over there, and it's pretty cool to watch.
And what's interesting to me about Kennesaw is, once you get past Georgia and Georgia Tech, they are the only other Division I football program in Georgia. Is that right?
Right.
And with all the talent that there is in Georgia, they've got plenty of opportunities.
Well, I mean, no, not Division I, because they're.
Oh, that's right, Georgia Tech, Georgia Southern.
State,
excuse me, yeah,
Georgia Southern.
Oh, yeah, I forget about those guys.
I really I forget that they're FCS for sometimes, but yeah, there are several others, but it's it is interesting to watch this Kennesaw team with a lot of Middle Tennessee talent. I mean, it's really something to see, and now that they get to kind of come back home and play against Austin Peay,
sure,
that's a big deal. So I know the folks at Austin Peay are excited about the entrance into the ASUN, but then after this year, Jacksonville State's gone.
That's right.
So who knows?
But ASUN fans and Austin Peay fans get 1 year of Rich Rod in the ASUN, and then that's it.
I don't know what to expect out of this conference. I mean, it's kind of, they had this the grand plan, and Eastern Kentucky, Jacksonville State were big parts of it. And now what do you do? I mean, it's kind of hard to pinpoint what's going to happen from here on out. My guess is that, the ASUN just continues as they are. What has Austin Peay said about what their future is in the ASUN?
They're excited about being in the ASUN. I mean, driving through Clarksville, you got a lot of signs along the side of the road, promoting the move to the ASUN. They've got a new arena coming out for the basketball team. They're really excited about this move to the ASUN, and there doesn't seem to be any indication that this is a part-time move for them. They were members of the OVC for a really long time, since the early 60s, I want to say. I believe they just celebrated their 60th anniversary in the OVC. So, they're not necessarily a program known for jumping around leagues. So I would imagine, unless things go real south real fast, that their plan is to stay in the ASUN.
There you go. This football season should be fun for everybody, Mo. In the ASUN, I mean.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot about Kennesaw, talked about Eastern and Jacksonville State. Obviously, Central Arkansas is a team and a program that probably bears watching as well. I remember they played Austin Peay a couple of years ago in that kickoff classic down in Montgomery, I think, and that's a team that has made some noise in the FCS over the last few years. So I think it's going to be really competitive once I get rolling for this one season before everybody bails.
Yeah, definitely. You could argue that they're one of the more competitive FCS conferences, with it even just being their first year. I mean, you see a lot of really good football teams in this conference.
When Jacksonville State is picked to finish fourth in your conference, you got a pretty darn good conference. And Austin Peay beat them in the spring. It's hard to explain. In spring of 2021, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the spring of 2021, Austin Peay went to Jacksonville, beat them. I mean, when Jacksonville State and Austin Peay are your 4 and 5 teams, your conference is really, really good. This is a playoff team.
Yeah,
they were in the playoffs last year.
He was really one game away from making the playoff last year. I mean, they lost to UT Martin, who I believe is ranked in the preseason again this year. They lost to them by, I think, 2 points on the road, and that win would have gotten them into the playoffs. So, it's a pretty good team. I know I mentioned they're losing a lot of players, but Scotty Walden has done a really good job of recruiting. They're getting guys who are, nationally ranked 3 stars, but still nationally ranked guys, some really good talent, across Middle Tennessee. Ellis from Hendersonville is there. He figures that he could play some key minutes early. Scotty Walton's not afraid to play young guys early, and that's what makes them really exciting.
Austin Peay set to host Eastern Kentucky on September 24th in the first ever, I guess, ASUN conference game.
Yeah, that's right. That should be very exciting.
How about that? Eastern Kentucky, which features Jalen Harrod, Mo, out of Summit.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. In addition to Matt Jackson, the kid from Hillsborough. So, Eastern has recruited down this way for a pretty good while and typically done a pretty good job. So that should be a couple of good ones for him this year on the defensive side of the ball.
I'm certainly looking forward to it.
Austin Peay open quarterback position. One of the guys that has a chance to potentially get some playing time there is Bryce Robinson, former quarterback for Clarksville Academy.
Really? That's interesting. I had not. I didn't know that they had a Clarksville Academy. That's interesting. I like that.
They do, yeah.
It's in.
Schools are next door neighbors. I mean, you could throw a stone from Clarksville Academy to Austin Peay's campus.
Can he throw a stone? Because if he can, if he can't, we got a problem. But if he can,
he can throw a ball over those mountains.
Uncle Rico's in the house and all. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
But yeah, this is going to be an interesting year for ASUN, and I'm looking forward to it. I know a lot of folks are. Austin Peay starts their season in Bowling Green.
That's right. Yeah, they're going up to play the Hilltoppers.
Western Kentucky.
That should be interesting because Western's looking to do some big things, so they'll be looking to get off to a good start at home against the Govs. So
be on CBS Sports Network, and then they come home for Presbyterian and Mississippi Valley State before heading down to Hunts Vegas to take on Alabama A&M, and then of course that ASUN matchup against Eastern Kentucky, and then they'll go to Central Arkansas. They've got Murray State October 15th in Clarksville, and then they'll be at home October 29th against Jacksonville State. And I purposely did not schedule a wedding that day, so I will be in Clarksville on October 29th at 3 p.m. I can assure you.
There you go.
You'll be there.
And then
Gamecock Red.
I will be in there sporting the Gamecock Red. There's no question there. And they close their season out, Mo, November 19th in Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
As they are the primer for the Tide before the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, that's gonna be something. It'll be interesting to see how Scotty Walden approaches that game too, because you're going up against Nick Saban. How often do you get a chance to go up against perhaps the undisputed GOAT of college football head coaching? He got to go up against Lane Kiffin last year when they played Ole Miss. You
got to do it coming off of Kennesaw State. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You're playing Kennesaw State, then Alabama in a row. Oof.
Yeah, it could get ugly.
Who made this schedule?
Right. Yeah.
That's Alabama's primer for the Iron Bowl. So so that could get real interesting.
It really could. Who knows? Nick Saban is known to play the first half like he's playing an SEC game and then, kind of dip out if necessary. But boy, you just got to hope that your quarterback, whoever it may be by the end of the year, is feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to make sure your offensive linemen get a few extra reps on the bench press, get a few extra squats in that week, so you can make sure your quarterback's head doesn't get taken off by Will Anderson.
Exactly. Exactly. So should be a good season in the ASUN, first season in history for the conference.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking forward to it. I know Austin Peay is looking forward to it. Brady, I'm sure you'll be checking them out as often as you can. And we appreciate you bringing the insight that you have on the Governors to this ASUN preview, as we have been trying. We started off with ASUN, Mo. This started our college football preview section. So
alphabetically.
Yeah, because tomorrow's CUSA.
Nice. Good job.
It works out really well for us.
All right.
Brady, we appreciate it, man.
That might be above the alphabet on the ASUN is the AAC.
Well, we will probably not talk about the AAC. So
yeah, there's probably not too much intrigue around them.
They're really not yet. I mean, maybe next year, but not right now. So at least not around here anyway. So got a lot to look forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing you out there, man. I appreciate you spending some time with us.
Hey, my pleasure, guys.
All right, Mo, we got one more segment to go.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who would like to talk a little sports, if you are so inclined, you can give us a call, 615-588-2998, 615-588-2998. Phone lines are open. Justin will be answering and hopefully getting you to us here shortly. So we'll come back. We'll talk a little more sports and dive into the world of what's going on in Middle Tennessee and around the country. Little MLB, NCAA, NFL, it's all going on. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back after this. Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mo, we were scheduled and hoped to have Dante Jones join us, former Boston Celtic and former Nashville area hoops phenom. But unfortunately, he was unable to give us a call today. We want to talk to him about, obviously, the big news over the weekend that at least in the conversation, if you're having a conversation about the greatest basketball player of all time, one would think that Bill Russell would be in that conversation, and we lost him over the weekend.
Hey, yeah, Bill Russell died Sunday at the age of 88, and to say that he would be in the conversation, 11 NBA championships, 2 college basketball championships, and an Olympic gold medal. That's a pretty good conversation starter, I think.
Well, you know, and I've never been one. I don't use the finals argument for Jordan. I don't use it against LeBron. because basketball is ultimately a team sport, and the Boston Celtics had a phenomenal bunch, but they built that team around Bill Russell. They built an entire franchise around Bill Russell. And obviously basketball was a different game back then, but I mean, you have to compare players to their eras, and what he did in his era, he was easily the greatest player of his generation. There's no question about it. Even with Kareem being in there.
Even with Wilt Chamberlain being in there.
Even with Wilt Chamberlain being in it.
So, I mean, what he was able to do, what those teams are able to do was pretty phenomenal. And, you know, I kind of have a tough time admitting it because it's the Celtics. But, you know, you can't argue with what he was able to accomplish over the length of his career. And, you know, to continue. And afterwards, you know, as a coach, you know, as a activist on the forefront of the civil rights movement and that kind of thing as well. I mean, what he did off the floor was just as impactful as what he did on the floor.
See, I was a Celtics fan. So
I understand.
I mean, you know, for no other reason than, you know, Kevin Garnett when he played in there in the late 2000s. I mean, I really didn't have a team because I didn't really care about the NBA for a long time. But I did root for the Celtics in the 90s, and anybody but the Bulls. I was not a big Bulls fan. I was the opposite because I didn't like the team that was winning all the time. But yeah, you know, Bill Russell, when you think about the Celtics, there are two guys you think about. It's Bill Russell and Larry Bird.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's it. And those two guys for probably at least 3 generations dominated professional basketball. Now, obviously there were some other guys around them, but you know, Bill Russell was, again, he was the guy that built that franchise into what it became. I mean, the Celtics of the 80s don't happen without Bill Russell. You know, that's what I look for when I'm talking about the greats of all time, is how did you impact the game? You know, Allen Iverson, they changed rules because of Allen Iverson. I think he's in the conversation. You know, obviously Michael Jordan completely changed the way that you play basketball in the late 80s, early 90s. He along with some others, he wasn't the only person, but he completely changed the game of basketball, and along with the Lakers. But it's an impact that can never be overstated when you talk about Bill Russell. So,
without question,
to me, he's top 3 forever. I mean, that picture of him with the rings, it's hard to beat that.
It's pretty impactful, isn't it?
So, I mean, it's like, I mean, I've seen pictures of Nick Saban with all his, but I mean, they also get rings for you know, things like conference championships and all that stuff. You don't all, you know, but his were championship rings,
right?
Like the end all be all championships,
like the final game championship rings.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy. Couple other things I wanted to get to, if you're good with that. I wanted to mention, I don't know if you saw this, but the PGA Tour has announced that it will pay out a record $428.6 million in prize money in the 2022-23 schedule. Now, if you don't think that is a direct result of the Live Tour,
right,
then you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, the Live Tour did exactly what the PGA didn't want it to do. That's why this is why they fought it so hard. I mean, some executives are probably losing a little bit of cash here.
Yeah.
To go into the pockets of the players. I mean, we can't have that.
Yeah, it's definitely, you knew it was gonna have an impact. You just didn't know how much or how soon, I don't think. And so, maybe the PGA feels like they've got to up their purses a little bit to try to keep some guys around and that kind of thing. And it's certainly interesting.
Especially when Tony Finau has won 2 tournaments in a row now. He was plus 1,400 going into the weekend and won again.
Oh, goodness. So he's, speaking of putting some money in some folks' pockets, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, when you're talking about Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, Patrick Reed, I mean, lefty is what he is now. But, I mean, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, and Patrick Reed are, they're top-level players who are now playing in the Live Tour. Right. So you've taken some competition away from the PGA, and that that makes a difference for guys like Tony Finau, and it's the impact is going to be felt for a while. I'm curious to see how it's going to play out in the end.
Yeah, it's going to be worth watching for sure. How many other players go in that direction, and what is the PGA's answer, or how well does the PGA's answer hold up? So it's going to be one of the intriguing things in sports over the next bit, I think. So
no question. All right, and finally, it's not Wild and Wacky Wednesday, but this was wild and wacky, no doubt. Aiden Mazel, a wide receiver out of Boone High School in Orlando, committed to play his college football recently, as he was choosing between several schools, including looks like Washington, Illinois, Tennessee, Alabama, and Florida. Well, 1,000-yard receiver, 18 touchdowns as a junior, also ran track and placed 7th in the 100-meter in the Florida High School 4A state championship. That seems good to me. 7th in Florida is like first anywhere else in the country. But decided he was going to sign with Florida. But how did he announce his signing? Well, he pulled out live alligators.
Plural. More than one.
Yes, had one in each arm. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't care, babies or not happening. No.
Florida man, right?
Yes, Florida. This is what. See, here's the thing. They clearly teach him young.
Obviously,
this is not something that is learned behavior as an adult. These kids out here are just playing with alligators. That's not something you play with.
No.
I don't even like to play with cats. I don't know. They will scratch you.
But they won't bite you. And if they do, you won't lose an arm.
Well, and these were tiny, but still, they're alligators. Kids, man.
Hey,
everybody trying to one up everybody. Can't just use ball cap no more. No. Oh yeah, I'm going to play for the Sounds. No. Ball caps are out. Alligators are in.
So,
like, dude, you could have just used some boots. Get gator skin boots or something.
So then,
gator boots.
if you commit
Gucci suits,
if you commit to Alabama, what do you do?
Dude, certainly not pull out an elephant. I guess you just flood the gym with red water. I don't know at this point.
I mean, is somebody going to pull out a tiger to commit to LSU now? Is that
so? Didn't somebody do that? I could have sworn maybe it was at the All-American game or something where they had a tiger on hand, but somebody had a a tiger. I can't. No, thank you. That's all I'm saying. No, thank you. No with the alligators, but good for you, buddy.
Hey,
I hope you enjoy your time in Florida. I hope you lose every game to Tennessee. That's all I can tell you. Billy Napier doing a great job in recruiting, man.
well, that's where it starts.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Hopefully it doesn't start this year. So anyway, all right, Mo, we have successfully made it through Monday. It's been a tough day. We had 3 guests bail on us. We had 1 guest come in super late. So thank you to Brady Mcatamney for being helpful. And we have made it through. So tomorrow we will talk to Chip Walters and preview the Conference USA. So come back with us. It's Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll see you then.